Hi everyone, it's me, Tim, and today I want to talk about the Fallout team. By the way, yes, I know it's dark, got a busy day, pre dawn, blah blah. The reason I want to talk about the Fallout team, yeah, my memoirs, that writing didn't go well. I'm toying with a making of Fallout writing. Got about 87 pages. So I have my glasses on, I'm going to read from it. But then I was reading through it, and I just got all the warm fuzzies about the Fallout team. It was such a good team. And I want to talk about them. I want to talk about them as individuals. And then I want to talk about a fun thing that happened that I found in an old journal entry I wrote. But I put together a list of what I consider to be the core set of personnel who worked on Fallout. This list is incomplete. It's not everybody who worked on Fallout, but I had to draw the line somewhere. So where I drew the line was who worked on Fallout every day as part of their work. Because of this, like I put Fergus Urquhart on the list because for the last 6 months, even though Fergus had an entire division to run, Fergus rolled up his sleeves, and I've said this elsewhere, and worked for on Fallout. He wrote dialogues. He worked on levels. He worked on creature encounters. Worked on item loot drops. He basically is part of the reason Aditim, the Boneyard area, even exists. But then I drew the line at like Charles Deenan, who was the audio director, who, even though, yeah, he hooked us up with Mark Morgan and he did some of the sound effects and his sound effects team worked on the game, this wasn't their only project, and I would sometimes go weeks or even months without talking to Charles. So even though he contributed to the game, that's kind of where I draw the line off. So let me go down the list of people. I'll tell you what the position was, what I remember about them, and when they started and ended on the project. Because this stuff you're not going I've never seen this anywhere else. And this is why, when people go, oh, you weren't the creator of Fallout, I'm like, yeah, these people were. But people like to have a face and a name, and, so here it is. So I'll start with me, Tim Kaine, producer, lead programmer, and original designer. I started in early 94. I think it was around March when it officially became a thing. Like it's what I was assigned to through to the ship, which was in October of 97. Tom Decker was the original producer. I've talked about this. He was assigned with me in early 94, but by the fall of 94, he was told, you have too many other projects. I think he had 22 different product SKUs. And so I became the producer, even though I didn't really know what I was doing. It took me a while to learn. Some people say I never learned. Yay. Jason Anderson, lead artist and original designer. He was one of the first people assigned to me in the fall of 94, stayed through ship. Jason, we often started calling him the technical artist. Jason was a really good bridge between programmers and artists. And then Jason Taylor was the second person assigned. He and Jason were assigned together. So he might have been the first. They were the first two people assigned, the two Jasons. Jason Taylor was a programmer and original designer on Fallout. He was assigned in fall of 94 and he left around late 95. There's a whole chat with him. You can watch me talk with him on the channel. Scott Campbell, he was the original designer. He's marked as designer, but also original designer. Original designer means who actually sat around and came up with the original core idea of story, setting, and mechanics for the game. That was Scott. He, in fall of 94, and then he left in September of 95. I have a whole chat with him as well. You can look it up. Leonard Borarsky, art director and original designer. Again, I have chats with him. I have two chats. He started in early 95, but I have a big asterisk next to this. The asterisk means, hey, these people were helping with the project in a big capacity far before their official start date. And there's I think 2 or 3 people on this list who I asterisk because they were significant contributors even when they were assigned to work on other projects at Interplay, meaning they stayed late or came in on weekends to work on Fallout. Leonard started in early 95, stayed through ship. Marco Green, he was the original division director that Fallout was supposed to come out on, which was called Dragonplay. Then he became a designer. We focused on, he rewrote a lot of the dialogues that were written that we later did with voice acting, because there's a particular way you have to write for voice actors, and Mark was really good at that. So I put him down as 1995 through ship. Fred Hatch, he was my assistant producer. He started in June of 95, was there through ship. He did a lot of the voice acting co-direction. He would go up and be at all the sessions. I only went to one, David Warner. Marco Green did everybody. Fred Hatch did everyone. Michael Dean was an artist. He started in June of 95, about the same time Fred did, and was there through September of 96. Jesse Reynolds was programmer. He started, all I knew is he shows up in my notes in August of 95, but he started before that. He was there through ship. Jesse's a really good programmer. He just plowed through a lot of code. Chris Jones was my co-lead programmer. He started in August of 95 and was there through ship. Chris was a very no-nonsense kind of person. It was very hard to get him in the quotes file because he would almost say nothing that could be taken out of context. It took me a long time to get him in the quotes file. You should look up his quote. It's very funny. Scott Rodenheiser was an artist, and he was the clay modeler. He was one who did most of the clay heads. I think Leonard did the Overseer. He started in August of 95, and he finished in June of 97. So he finished a little before we shipped. Brian Fryermuth, designer. He started a little before September of 95 and left a little after March of 96. I'm not exactly clear on the dates. He had a lot of great ideas, contributed a lot to the early part of the game. Arlene Summers, she did additional art. She started before September of 95, and I don't know when she was reassigned, but she wasn't on our project by the end. She did a lot of the UI work. Helena Wickberg, she did additional art too. I think she did 3D animations and some of the 2D art. She started in October of 95 and left in September of 96. Chris Taylor, he was the lead designer and an original designer. I have him starting in November of 95 because that's when Stonekeep shipped, but he really, like Leonard, I have big asterisks next to him because he started well before that. He was at the original meetings. He contributed a lot of ideas and stuff to the very early part of the game. He was there through ship. Gary Plattner was a lead artist. All I know is he shows up in my notes in January of 96, but I think he started in late 95. He was there through ship. Gary was one who first suggested ink spots as music in our game. Scott Everts, technical designer, started in January of 96, was there through ship. Scotty was really good at handling the 2D art of laying down tiles and laying down wall segments. He would be called a level designer today, and he was brilliant at it. Very, very amazing attention to detail. Nick Kesting, he was a programmer, did a lot of scripting. He also did additional design. He started in 96 and was there through ship. Mark Morgan did our music. I have him listed as early as March of 96, and I think he worked on stuff here and there throughout the game through ship. Fergus Urquhart was our division director, was Black Isle division, even though we came out under Interplay, because we switched so late from Dragonplay under Marco Green to Fergus under Black Isle. I have him first doing work on the game in May of 96 through ship in October of 97. Chris DeSalvo, he's marked as additional programming by. Chris DeSalvo is the one who originally converted GNOME, my OS abstraction library, there's a whole video on it, to Mac. So you could say he's the whole reason the game can exist on the Mac. He did that between May and August of 96. Jason Swin, he was listed as a production assistant. He did almost all the lip syncing of the clay heads, which had to be done by hand. It couldn't be automated. Like Scotty, very good attention to detail. Also, he was the one who suggested that ace lips could be rearranged into special. He started a little before September of 96, was there through ship. George Almond, additional art by. I don't know when he started. I know he left by September of 96. George was the one who took Leonard's original Vault Boy and re-inked it to have a correct ink weight. I don't know what that means, but all I know is Leonard's always like, oh, I'm so glad George was there to do that. T-Ray Isaac, artist, started before September of 96, was there through ship. T-Ray did almost all of the Vault Boys that you see in Fallout. All those Skill Dex's Vault Boys. He did a lot of the other art in the game too. He did a lot of sprites. When you kill the Overseer and he explodes into fragments, that's T-Ray. Tim Hume, Mac programmer, started in September 96, was there through SHIP. I went to grad school with him. He was our Mac programmer. He did all that heavy lifting. Yes, Chris DeSalvo made GNOME Mac. Tim Hume converted all of our code for the Mac. And let me just tell you, like, I remember color cycling, not very easy to do on a Mac because you didn't have access to that palette. Rob Collier was an artist, started in 96, was there through SHIP. He later worked with us at Troika. Robert Hertenstein, programmer, started in 96, did a lot of scripting, was there through SHIP. Kevin Weatherman, programmer, started in 96, was there through SHIP. He did the world map. I remember he did a lot of work on the world map and getting that working. Dave Hendy, designer, started sometime in early 97, maybe January, February, was there through SHIP. He had spiky hair, kind of reminded me of Bart Simpson. And he was my pick for the lead designer for Fallout 2. Jess Hennig, programmer, did a lot of scripting, started in early 97, left in mid 97. He's the person to thank, along with Jason Anderson, for while there's companions in the game. Even though it was Scott Campbell's idea, these two figured out how to do it. And Jess did the initial scripting. So you wouldn't have companions if it wasn't for that guy. Mark Harrison did additional programming. Started in April of 97, was there through SHIP. He was the one I did a lot of pair debugging with. We didn't have a word for pair programming, but that's what we did. We found a lot of bugs together using his bear traps and my knowledge of where to place them. I talk about that a lot in the Bugs of Fallout video, I think. And then finally, Scott Benny. He was a designer on our game. I don't have any start or end date for him. I don't know when he was officially assigned to me. I'm not sure he was, but he did a lot of design. He did a lot of narrative design. I think he did, was it Dr. Wu, the guy who was chopping up people and they went into Gecko on a stick? That was Mr. Benny. Wicked sense of humor. Rest in peace, Mr. Benny. You were brilliant. So, I know I've talked a lot, but I have to talk about this. So I found a journal entry I wrote. In May 13th of 97, I sent out an email to the team called Free Smoothie Contest. I said, I'm going to go to Jamba Juice for a smoothie, and I will buy a free one to the team member who gives me the best reason that they deserve getting it. Here are the reasons I got in response. Gary Plattner, I deserve a free smoothie because I want one. Chris Taylor, I deserve a free smoothie because they don't give me gas. They did. They really did give him gas. Chris Jones, I deserve a free smoothie because I didn't waste valuable time trying to come up with a creative answer to this when I should really be getting my work done instead. Leonard Boreski, I deserve a free smoothie because I'll jujitsu your ass if you don't give me one. See, that's Leonard going right for violence. Robert Hertenstein, I deserve a free smoothie because I don't know what a smoothie is. I think he really didn't know. Scott Benny, I deserve a free smoothie because I'm diabetic and my doctor would kill me if I ate one. Oops. T. Ray Isaac, I deserve a free smoothie because I'll shank the man who says I don't deserve one, plus Jesus bought one for Santa Claus. South Park reference. Jess Hennig, I deserve a free smoothie because Jesus bought one for Kringle, so why don't I get one? I think those two cheated off each other. Dave Hendy, I deserve a free smoothie because it would give me superhuman energy to be spiky-haired boy, the midnight vigilante, hair around the world, be freed from bondage and persecution forever. Jason Swin, I deserve a free smoothie because the bomb on your car goes off at 5:01 p.m. See, it's violence again. You wonder where the Fallout violence came from. Nick Kesting, I deserve a free smoothie because I dressed up really snazzy today. In his defense, he really was dressed up kind of snazzy. I think he had jury duty. I don't remember who I bought the free smoothie for. Sorry, I don't have a good end to this anecdote or this video. I just wanted to read some of this stuff because I thought that was a really good team. Loved working with them. I want them to get more attention. I want when people talk about the creation of Fallout, I want them to know these people and know what they did. So, there's my Fallout team video.